Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Quest for the Best Director podcast, also known as the Greatest Movie Director Ever Bracket podcast, also known as Three Dudes Just Talking About Movies. I am one of your hosts, Matthew Moore, and joining me is a guy who the French Cancan a couple of times in his life, Caleb Ferguson. Caleb, what's going on?
Oh, excited to talk about movies as usual. Might even bust out a Cancan for the audience, for the
Whew.
live studio audience, I might
Oh,
mention.
oh my gosh, man. Next podcast, we need to make this video for me busting out can-cans. Jeez Louise.
Mm-hmm.
And also joining us is our other co-host, a guy who's more whipped than the Nazis in Indiana Jones, Derek Torzinski. Derek, how you doing?
I mean, I thought we were going to keep that moment in private, but we'll talk about them.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to expose you, Derek. We can cut this part, don't worry. We'll cut that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You'll just randomly start talking,
You're like right here.
But yeah, so for those who have never listened to this podcast before, this is the Quest for the Best Director Ever podcast. Each week we pit two directors against each other. This time it's Jean Renoir versus Steven Spielberg. We're each watching their fifth best movie. As the bracket goes on, we watch their fourth, third, second, first, etc. According to TheyShootPicturesDon'tThey.com's top 1,000 list. This week it is Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark versus Jean Renoir's The French Cancan. Now, I'd like to start this week with a question to Derek. I'm telling these guys for I haven't told Derek I was going to have this bold of a way. But also, Caleb doesn't know we had this conversation. But me and Derek were talking the other day about why Derek doesn't tend to like happy movies. And Derek told me, Caleb, that he doesn't like happy movies. He says that it's harder for a happy movie to be done well because it has to kind of, its one goal is to kind of give off this happy vibe, right? So my question, Derek, is: did the French Cancan succeed in giving off that vibe?
I would say
That's for happy movies.
100%. Like 100%.
100%. Oh my goodness, that's exciting.
I was
Wait, that was a happy movie?
That's the thing, is a lot of happy movies, they're so afraid to have, like, any unhappiness at all. Because what their fear is that, like, their happy moments and, like, the characters that are supposed to, like, build up, the camaraderie and, like, the haha moments and the slapstick moments or whatever it is, aren't going to be strong enough to offset, like, the depressing parts.
Yeah.
But Renoir was just like balls to the wall, like, I'm okay with this. I know I can, my story is strong enough that it's not going to be a big deal.
And also, in addition to his story, that his atmosphere is strong enough, right? Like, don't worry, the lines become. I will summarize the French Cancan for us in a bit, but there's a time in the French Cancan where it's a pretty depressive scene where everything's kind of just gone to shit, and a lot of people get exposed, all this stuff, and basically the theater has just been closed down, for the second time in the movie. Second time out of like 5 times in the movie, the theater's been closed down. And throughout all the sadness, there's like this really nice like little moment with, oh gosh, I can't remember the character's name, but he's the guy who, oh my gosh, he's the guy who's like his servant who does like, he's like the announcer guy.
Oh, Casimir,
yes.
Yeah, that's Casimir. Yeah.
The part with Casimir, he's just like talking with the guys, and he's like, "Come on, it's okay," and he's like sings a little song about like a Persian cat, and to me that like epitomizes this movie. You know what I mean? Like he can treat these serious moments and still give them like this light atmosphere, like this everything's gonna be okay, while still like treating them 100% seriously.
Because I think that's the point of the movie, really. It's that like you can't let all the mundane reality stuff bog you down. Like life is all about the beauty and the transcendental stuff, and
or even like the less mundane, Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just have to like focus on, the beauty of life and move on past and ignore all of the drudgery and bad things, and you'd have to live for art and beauty.
Yeah,
and like
Go there.
I was gonna say, even in the moments where it's like, this guy, he's like, just kill me now. When like Paulo comes and like, I'm gonna kill you, and he's like, just kill me now. You're just doing me a favor. Kind of like just laughing in the face of death, basically.
Exactly.
Pretty much how you have to live your life. You're like, everyone's gonna die. Just gotta go on, just laughing in the face of it.
Very much so. So I should summarize the movie for our audience, although I think it's difficult to summarize because you can kind of frame it in one of two ways, but I think we'll get into that later. For right now, I'll just kind of give the baseline summary, where it's about this guy named Henry Danglard, who runs this theater, and he's kind of constantly trying to find stars for his theater, and he finds this one woman kind of in this, poor club. Her name is Nini, and his goal is to kind of make her a star, but she has all these romantic things, and it's kind of an issue.
Wait, where did you say he found her? Sorry.
Like in a poorer club, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
the
yeah.
White Queen.
The White Queen's what the club's called, exactly. And he kind of makes a star out of her, despite she has all these relationship issues, and then she ends up getting a relationship with Henry, which goes to shit into the movie when Henry ends up, cheating on her with another, up and coming star named Esther. So I say that's like the best summary of French Cancan I can do. And the reason I say this movie is hard to summarize is because it's difficult to say, like, is this the story of Danglard, or is this the story of Nini?
I would say probably the former, because it's more than anything the story of the club, the Moulin Rouge, going up.
Yeah. I think it's literally not about Danglard at all. I think it's a story about the theater, like the club and the theater, because like that's where all the characters are seen in like most of the major moments. So I think that's like I think that's like the driving force of the story. I think it's less of a story of Danglard and more of like Danglard making the club.
And I guess when it comes to, if we are going to say, is it a story of, if we want to have one character frame the story around, if we are saying that, it is the story of the Moulin Rouge, I guess the question is, do we kind of buy into Danglard's philosophy at the end? I know I am skipping ahead here, but I think that's okay. Or the end, Danglard's basically like, the club's not about me, it's about the people, while Nini seems to have this focus of, the club is about, not about her, because I don't think she's necessarily selfish with it, but, the club's about the experience of the artist, while Danglard thinks the club is about or the theater, I guess, rather, is about the experience of the audience, not the club, the theater. Where do you guys kind of stand on this ideological debate?
I would slightly disagree. I think that Nini, like, she hasn't, like, bought in entirely to, like, the theater philosophy, so she's still, like, how I mentioned before, like, bogged down in the realities of life. She's just, like, caught up in, like, what's immediately close to her and, like, trying to be basically selfish with love and, like, basically trying to have someone and have that person for herself. Whereas I feel like Danglard is more, like, I don't know, a romantic with it in a way where, like, the love's not about, like, possessing someone. It's about, like, the beauty of love itself or something like that. I don't really know, but it seems like she's still, like, in a more selfish mindset, and then he kind of, like, espouses his philosophy in his sort of monologue at the end, which I thought was really interesting because it's so contrary to how he's behaved up to that point. Like, that was kind of the one point in the movie where he, like, almost loses his cool, and he kind of, like, goes on this, like, long monologue where he gets a little bit heated, and it was very interesting because it's different than how he behaved pretty much throughout the rest of the movie.
I don't know. I don't like the word selfish there, right? Because
I think it's. I don't think it's selfish. Is that like different viewpoints? Like
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Nini's viewpoint is still because he even says it. Okay, that he thought she was a troop member. I think that's the attitude he's coming from. Like for a troop member or like a member of the theater, like love between like other troop members isn't like a matter of monogamy or even like a structure of any kind. It's just supposed to be love for its sake or sex for its sake or whatever the relationship happens to be. Like with Lola, using all the rich dudes like Baron Walter to fund the theater or whatnot, and like have sex with them to fund it. Like, yeah, Danglars obviously cares about her, but he doesn't like care about her methods. He just like her. So that's his perspective on it. But for like Nini, if like Danglars was doing like the same thing, she'd probably like have a fit or something like she did. But that's because of her perspective. She's like still not like a troop member.
But do you
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she hasn't given it all up for the art yet. Like, she's still like living her own life. She's not living the life like for the art.
Yeah.
But is Danglars living his life for the art? I mean,
I think so, because
okay, continue.
I was just gonna say, like, because as we kind of mentioned before, he obviously doesn't mind that like the women he's seeing, like, sleeping out with other people for the that they want to, because he's not being like selfish with his lovers. He doesn't care. He's just letting them do what he wants.
But he doesn't even see
do
them
what
as
they want,
lovers. He
sorry.
sees them as creations. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, sure, exactly.
Like the love of his life, he sees it as like a play toy.
No, I think that's reductive. I think play toy is like maybe a bit harsh. I would say like a piece of art.
Yeah, that's the tone I got from it, at least.
Like, he obviously cares for them. They're not like they're not meaningless. He just doesn't claim to possess them.
I guess so. I just feel like you have these scenes. Like, he has to know Nini's gonna feel this way, right? Like,
maybe, but I think he also expects her to be able to see it from like perspective of like an artist. Like, even if she has a problem with him like doing these things, she's still gonna do her art.
yeah, I do agree with that. I guess it's just like success means the scene where they're in the hotel room, he's just like saying all these like extremely like she's having the moment. She's like, I never thought I'd be in a hotel room like sipping on champagne with guy. And he's like, I never thought I would fall in love. And he used the words "fall in love" basically with like this poor girl I met at the club.
Yeah.
Does he? I can't remember exactly what he says.
Derek, you got the check on this? I can check actually.
I think. Well, I think even in that perspective, for him, him falling in love doesn't mean the same thing as it does for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
And then, because maybe it's more than he's falling in love with a work of art than a human being, but I guess you can almost argue that's like a more personal life. Although I think the important part of this movie, and we're kind of hinting at, is that it's not really a conversation about ethics, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, these people act a certain way, and within it, within like this environment, and it's kind of like, how are they gonna act? Let's see. But it doesn't really matter how they act so much as like
how it affects others almost.
Yeah.
And how it affects this kind of final product, right? Because we don't see, I mean, we see the rehearsal runs, but it's very, bare bones kind of like seeing the women, getting more flexible and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really see like any sort of final product until the very end when we see the final product. And some of that, I think, more genre than anything, but also how he kind of manipulates this cliche of the genre to like benefit him thematically is I think what's really cool, where it's everyone's behavior, everyone's reaction is going to end it, everyone's storyline is going to lead up to this final scene where it'll all kind of play out. It all, everyone's decisions will end up, affecting the art one way or the other. In this final scene, the beauty of it is that it is everyone's emotions in one. I think it's super cool.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like a great point of the movie is that like we presented it as like a focus on Danglars or whatever, but it's not really about him that much. Like, it's more just like about these people, and it's like not really centered on any one person or storyline. Really, it's more just like the movie itself like is a party, and it's a movie about parties, and it's like it almost flows like one. Like I don't know, it's very interesting. Like the way it's like there's all these like various characters kind of just like flitting about and mingling.
But see, I don't know, because when you say it like that, I kind of think of what's like another movie we watched. It's like really character heavy.
Street of Shame.
Street of Shame, yeah, it's a perfect one.
Yeah.
Where
Mhm.
like with that movie, it was very much about this ensemble cast, and we are constantly going back and forth between them. This, it really just the first half of the movie, Don never seen, and the second half of the movie, Nini's basically, you know.
Hmm.
So it is. We do follow characters, certainly.
Yeah, but also I think what kind of it's less about like it's like yeah we follow the characters and it's because it's like about the characters like interacting and like creating this environment.
Hmm.
That's why we see like these side characters that we like don't really even know the name of, like the guy in the like cafe in the front of the cafe who just like screw this Dangalard and his theater,
Yeah.
and like we just see him like talking to the waiter, and the waiter's like, I'm looking forward to this theater over there. Looks very exciting. They're like, screw his theater.
Yeah.
I have to say that was like actually one of my favorite parts of the movie is like that like peanut gallery of the husband and wife outside the diner and how like they'll just like repeatedly show up and make some random comment about what's going on.
Yeah, and it's like because it's like a working and it's supposed to be like I feel like a working environment, like a world. Like that's why the characters kind of it's not like about the character's ethics so much as like the people. 'Cause, like if you meet someone, you're like not worrying about like is he ethically okay? Should I sympathize with this person? You're just like, hey Bob, how's work? It's like this guy hates Dongalard. Okay, that's him. It's like, alright, that's how he works in the environment. And like Baron Walter, he's the banker dude. And hopefully he gives Dongalard the money. Oh no, he didn't give him the money. Kind of like just the like
Yeah.
the interaction and like the
But I think-
working of the world.
Equally, I think it's a bit more than that, though. I think there is like some themes, like it is a bit stronger thematically, where, like Caleb was saying, it is about how, and I do 100% agree with his thesis, where this is about how you can be happy through all of the bad times, right? And how the reason, I guess, one of the reasons you're happy is, I guess, because of art, right? And this kind of creation of art is almost what drives those people. Is what it leads these people, forgiving each other. It leads to all these things, and how you can just forget all of it in an instant. Honestly, like how seriously we take life, and how we should just live to enjoy it. I think it's. I guess like my point is, it's less about like how we should accept everything, and more about how we should need to like legitimately enjoy everything.
Yeah, very Buddhist.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I would kind of disagree with that. And I think the reason why is that it's not like you're going to love art to get you through the bad times, but that like you're also going to love art through the good times too. Like it's not like art is a coping mechanism, is that like the good times and the bad times both are irrelevant in the face of art. And that's like kind of I think this maybe implied by the very end when Danglard is like just sitting in the back room behind the party and like he doesn't really like enjoy it or go out until like the very, very end, and he's kind of just like sitting there. Like he's not going to like party and have a good time. He like made this piece of art and now his enjoyment is completely irrelevant. So it's not like we should all just focus on the good times. It's the good times and bad times both are pointless in the face of this like transcendental artwork.
I guess I could see that.
I
But
don't know if it was supposed to be like that. Is like kind of like he's done.
yeah, it's kind of how I view it.
His enjoyment isn't like the actually participating of it. It's that he created this thing and now it's working. It's like he created this machine and now it's moving forward.
That's my point, is that like it's not just about like enjoying yourself to your fullest extent or something, because if that was the case, then he would have been out partying with everybody else. But it's about making art, like not enjoying yourself at all.
I do think it's about enjoying yourself, though. I mean, why do you think he's not enjoying himself? You see him, like, tapping along to it and everything, you know?
Yeah, but I think it's like, to me, it had like a solemn vibe, I guess.
I don't know. It was more like
I don't think it
I
was
think it
solemn.
was just, I think it was more like a subtle vibe. I think he was like he was enjoying himself. It just like he didn't. The enjoyment of it wasn't the out there watching it from the audience.
Yeah.
Watching it from the
Hearing everyone's
backstage.
reactions, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what he
he's
enjoyed.
watching it from the backstage, and that's like I think I was going to talk about this, but like the scene at the beginning where we have like the audience in the front and the actual artists in the back. That's like the setup for it. Like in the theater, that's where the artists are, and those are the people. That's like it's kind of like the place is the people. Like if you're in the back, you're an artist. If you're in the front, you're the audience. And that's kind of like, and the stage is the central focus of both. That's why in both shots, like the stage is present, and like from the audience and from like the backstage, we see the stage. Like for both the audience and the artist, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. And I totally agree. Yeah, exactly. It's about, he even says it, right? It's about separation of, we give what they want, right? I don't think it's that, like Derek's saying, I don't think it's that he's not enjoying something. I think he's enjoying hearing the audience happy, right? He doesn't want to be an audience, but he wants to be the creator, you know? So why would
Yeah, I agree.
experience this art when he created it? And also,
Yeah, I agree. But it's transcendent, right? Like he's transcending experience in the art, and he's creating it instead.
I guess I feel like also one thing you're kind of not addressing is the fact that he, from a story, from a plot perspective, he literally cannot be out there, right? Like,
No, because he can enjoy the audience as he does like at the very end.
I guess what the issue is like there's this drama with Nini, so there's that whole thing. So like, if he walks out there until the very end, like that will have to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why though? He couldn't just like go stand in the back and watch the show.
maybe he can stand in the back, but then once again, he's not really enjoying it. I think it's almost better shows enjoyment than him like tapping his leg in the backstage, back of the room, like looking on.
Maybe.
And she can still see him. I feel like the second she sees him, the mood dies, right? So it's best not to address that.
No, I think that I kind of disagree with that. I think like we were supposed to assume at this point that like their relationship drama has been resolved because she's had her like transformative moment. So if that was the case, then that would like really cheapen
Yeah, at the
the
end,
whole like.
she has her transformative moment after she's like been dancing for a while in this dance. Like not at the beginning of the dance though. So we can't be out there from the very beginning.
No, because she only went out because she had her transformative moment. Remember, like she didn't want to go out, and then he gave his monologue, and then she sort of like had her transformative realization, and then went out there to dance. So I think like her whole like transformation that led her to be able to go out there and dance would be like cheapened if like she still had those feelings of like jealousy and stuff when he went out there, if he were to go out there.
How'd you view that, Derek? 'Cause I guess we just viewed it differently. In Caleb.
Well, like I don't know. I didn't think that was like the importance of it. Like it was kind of just like she decided through like her mother and him like talking to her that she wanted to go out to dance, and that was that. And then she moved on and did the dance and enjoyed herself.
That's my thing. I think yeah. Continue.
And then for Danglars, it wasn't so much that he wouldn't or couldn't go out, but that he didn't need to.
Yeah, I think maybe it's more emphasizing a point, right? That he doesn't need to be out there to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Be able to hear the audience.
Because, like, also what it showed, well, he's, like, tapping along to the rhythm of the beat, and, like, whenever something he hears isn't, like, the way he, like, envisioned it perfectly, you see him, like, kind of sour in his face, or, like, when something goes right, he's, like, kind of happy. And that's, like, the point, I think, is that he's the creator in the back, watching the machine move forward, and, like, the bad rhythms and the good rhythms of its machinations are what give him enjoyment, not the being an audience member to watch it do the tricks.
That's it. I do think it's important to note that this is disagreement with Caleb. Yes, I disagree that I do think the transformative moment is while she's dancing.
What would lead you to believe that? Because I didn't notice anything.
Because there's this dialogue between her and the other girl where she's like, "Are you still gonna quit?" And she's like, "Are you crazy?" You know? Like, of course I'm not gonna quit.
That's strange. I didn't even remember that. That's really weird.
Yeah, there's definitely a dialogue between like her and one of the other girls while they're dancing. Like, and then they're always focusing on her smile while she's dancing. I do think like the dancing is what leads her to be happy, right? It's this moment of dancing that like this excitement she gets from being with everyone and being the star that like maybe I don't know, I'm not gonna go that far, maybe not the star, but whatever it is, something about this dance is where the transformation happens. I think she runs there like not excitedly, she runs there like almost crying, doesn't she? Like still basically in tears when she's like about to go out.
Yeah.
I do think the dance is what leads her to have this transformative moment. But let's move on from that. There's a lot more in this movie we want to touch on. What else do you guys want to talk about with the French Cancan?
I really like the costume.
Yeah, sure. Talk about the costume.
Yeah, especially it was very distinctive because you knew every social status, the social status of every person involved, no matter what, in every scene. So it was very distinctive. And the prince, or not, wears something different, distinctly different from what the actual other aristocrats do to stand him out. And the guy in the blue outfit, the blue army outfit, that's super distinctive to show he's also separate from the other aristocrats, but less in that he's a prince or something, but more in that Lola doesn't need him until for money and stuff. So that's what the other aristocrats are there for, at least at the beginning, is to show that Lola goes for money to them.
Yeah,
so.
The costumes, I like you said social status, not necessarily just socioeconomic status, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see it not just within in terms of these are the rich people, these are the poor people, also these are the artists, these are the not, right? In this final scene, everyone who's dancing in color, everyone who's not dancing more or less is wearing a black or white suit or dress,
Mm-hmm.
We know who our dancers are, and also just help point them out. It makes things much more easy to follow for a movie with so many characters. And I don't mean characters in terms of remembering who's who, but I mean literally visually being able to see people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, what did you say about costume? The one that brought it up.
Yeah, I thought that was very visually compelling with all of the bright colors. Everyone looks extremely distinct, especially the two kind of thief ruffian characters. They're always wearing super colorful clothes and chewing flowers and stuff like that, and it's just so exotic and visually appealing to me.
Yeah, we have two sets of lads, right? Are two ruffian lads, you're calling them, the ones who provoked this whole fight and hang out with this one girl at the bar. With those guys who, like you said, are super colorful, always dressed strangely, and they have this kind of posture about them where they're always kind of slumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have these two guys who are equal lads, I would say, who are these two rich guys who can hang out with our aristocratic group, right?
Yeah, and hang out with Baron Walter and Lola,
who are just as much of ridiculously screwy lads, but they're always wearing black and white suits, always wearing black and white suits, right?
Yeah, with the top hats.
Yeah, and their top hats, and they're always up straight, and pointing this dichotomy between the characters that are so similar. And by the way, speaking of those guys, the scene where the prince shot himself, the aftermath of that, where they're all just talking, and the guy just making fun of everybody, they're just roasting everyone.
Oh yeah.
Stitches. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Where there's like, oh my gosh, you're so sincerely sad. I can tell. Like, man, what a great like have an apology.
I think those two. You kind of interesting that you bring up those two groups as like sort of a dichotomy because they sort of represent the two different ways of looking at the world that this movie sort of espouses, which is the really colorful ones who always have the flowers and stuff are more along the lines of like the living life as an art kind of thing, and the other group is like they're dressed in like the normal colors and they're like all the stuff they talk about and deal with is very much rooted in like the details of reality.
But they also like don't seem to take life very seriously, right? Like I'm talking about this scene. Like this guy just shot himself, and they're
Yeah.
this narrator is like pointing out, the ridiculous almost hypocrisy in everyone else.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I think it's supposed to be like irreverent and like sort of like crude in its obsession with like the nitty gritty of life.
Yeah, I could see that. Any other costuming notes or just color in general? There's a lot of color things I think in the movie that we haven't really addressed yet.
Especially notably the red windmill on the top of the club itself.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's Moulin Rouge or Moulin Rouge. That's what it looks like. So that was pretty cool. They did a very good representation of it.
Wait, so is that what Moulin means? Does it mean red windmill? Because obviously
No.
rouge means red.
Yeah, I don't know.
Translation. Moulin, yeah, it means mill.
Ah, well, there we go.
Red mill.
Red windmill. That's cool.
But yeah, I think the red is always these constant reds. There's also a lot of whites in the movie.
With the White Queen.
Quite determine what they mean, right? But it stood out to me most when I was talking about that scene earlier where he is where Nini and Donglord are like kind of having this kind of love affair, right? In this hotel room, which is extremely white. Both of them are wearing white. And then you come over to his wife, or I guess, yeah, Lola's wife.
Mistress. No, Lola's his mistress as well.
Oh, she is? Wait, his wife?
Yeah, he doesn't have a wife.
Okay, sure.
He doesn't have a family at all.
So Lola, his mistress, and then she's with that lover. Is it Alexander that's the lover, or is it somebody else? I was confused about that.
No, she's with the
rich dude with the mustache, right?
Yeah, that's no, after that scene, she's with the blue army suit guy.
Okay, yeah, right.
Because that's when she's like, I'm just filled with despair.
Yeah. Exactly. And so those traveling fair, and that room is completely red. Whatever room they're in, And I'm not exactly sure why this is, but I find it very interesting.
Yeah, it's very distinctive.
Yeah, and it's a constant thing, right? These whites, these reds, and these blues. These are by far three main colors. They have many greens or yellows or anything.
Also, it's really cool when the Prince Alex first takes Nini on a date. She's wearing pink. And he gives her pink roses. And then the tree that they sit under when he's like, I want to be like the boy next door or whatever, hanging out. And they go sit under the tree. The tree's flowers are also pink.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was so cool because it was like perfect setup.
And Alexander is notably always wearing white.
Yeah, white and black. And then he always has that red rose for most of the time.
Yeah, but do you guys know what these colors could possibly mean?
I'm guessing red obviously has to symbolize the artistic lifestyle in the theater and the club itself.
Yeah, and then black and white's distinctively aristocrat. And then when you go into the more poor area, that's when we see a
lot of blues.
The laundromat is blue and it's like a lot of other places are blue.
Though what's
So I
called the
think,
White Queens or whatever is completely blue.
yeah, that too is also blue. So I think it's just I think it's supposed to be representative of like
Yeah.
like
Oh my
roles.
gosh. I just took a random screenshot at the White Queen. It's called the White Queen, right? It's the White Queen
Yeah, it's the White Queen.
burger joint. Keep on- so it's not that. I sent you guys a screenshot in the Discord. It's insanely blue. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think Derek's got it right in the money. Where red and you two both have. I shouldn't say Derek. You guys have it right in the money. Where red is rich, white and black are like aristocrat. Red is art. Sorry, white and red are aristocrat, and blue is like a poor socioeconomic. You guys see this? I sent you to the Discord.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's why like most of those people dancing there are also wearing blue. I think.
Yeah.
Although I think kind of like white is definitely used a lot in reference to like the poor, simple life. Like it's like black is definitely supposed to be, I think, like we look down upon because it's like about like the dirty nitty gritty of life. And then it seems like white is like also kind of concerned with that, but in a less bad way. Like it's more like the people who work at the laundromat, like they're not as crude as those guys who like wear suits and are always talking about the stock market and stuff. But they're not
Yeah.
artistic either. They're just like trying to get along.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is I struggle with too is what exactly is white, in this movie.
hmm
Always about the white, but I can't quite pinpoint down 'cause it's used so much and it's all intentional. Like we're saying, like this scheme does not seem to be an accident at all, but then yeah, I can't quite figure it out.
hmm
There's a lot of things to touch on this movie. I mean, there's just so many great characters in this movie.
Yeah. Also, so many good lines. I love Casimir's song, the Money Song.
Yeah.
I even wrote down the entire lyrics because I loved it so much. It was so fun.
Read it for us, Derek.
It was.
Remember, Caleb, snap if there's ever, powerful.
It's
Okay.
money is as shy as a turtle dove. Money can be wooed like a maiden's love. Money hides shyly beneath the widow's bed. Money mounts up in misers' heads.
Yeah,
Millionaire banker, courtesan bigot, aristocrat hold-up man, is all that money to be shaken from trees. What's money for Dangalard but shooting the breeze? Forward, charge the windmills. Soldiers, hold your positions. Forward, capture the pretty frills. Shake the temple columns. Soldiers, remember that from the top of
Yes.
Mulan de la Gadgelat, 40 centuries look down upon you. But he like sings it so like it's such a swingy tune.
It is. He's such a lad. Speaking of lad, he's the ultimate lad.
Yeah, and when he's like, he like shouts like forward, and it's like, he mimes with his mouth a fucking trumpet.
Yeah, he's definitely a great character. Because like if you remember, he starts off as definitely like this like black archetype where he's a clerk working like basically to like keep count of all of Danglard's possessions so that he can be like repossessed, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And so he's like definitely starts off as like this very like not enviable character, and then kind of like almost converts to this other ideology of like living for art and that sort of thing.
Yeah, he even says, I'm your man, or whatever to Danglard. It's like, I don't know. He honestly makes me so happy. I was like, he's such a fun character.
In a way, this movie's almost like a sort of, Danglard is almost like a sort of like a prophet, or like he's kind of like gathering his disciples about him and like making them converts and like taking them out of these like dull drudgery lifestyles and basically like bringing them into this world where they can sort of like transcend all that and be beautiful and exciting and fun.
For sure, but then I think the dark side of that is all the people who aren't getting into that lifestyle, right? And all they can do is enjoy. But then, to contrast what you said about it being a dark side, I think Danglars affects people more than anything, right? What's kind of thing is like, even if you aren't one of the people who like gets to live in this lavish lifestyle, it's okay because this lavish lifestyle is made to please you.
Exactly. Yeah, like it's public. Like you can just go to the club and enjoy this. It's really cool for that reason.
I love it. Two more guys we need to talk about before we move on to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Two more lads, or the two former flames of Nini. We
Oh yeah.
got Sad and Sadder. You're gonna decide whichever one. You have Prince Alexander and Paolo. You can decide which one's which. But
Come on, there's no question.
yeah,
Paulo honestly makes himself sad. That's,
yeah.
like, he's like, if you go be a dancer, I'm gonna leave you. You're gonna lose me. Wah.
And he's such even the whole dance, he can't give a smile. Why doesn't he smile once? Like, everyone's having this great time, just like sitting there, like resting bitch face. Like it's terrible.
Yeah, and then it is a joke. The dude's just a joke, and then like Prince Alex, he's like so unbelievably nice. It's honestly painful how good of a person he is in comparison to the rest of this cast. Like,
I don't know about that. I think being like, I'm gonna kill myself if you break up with me.
Except he doesn't say that. He just does it. He just like.
No, he does say it. He says it.
Well, he does say it, but that's like a romantic thing to say. Like every poet like I'm going to die without you, shit like that. That's such a common cliche to say. Like I will die without you. I'd rather kill myself than be without your love. Shit like
and then
that.
he's like ha ha ha, and then he's like, I'm serious, right? Talk about a vibe killer, Jesus Louise.
I think that this is supposed to be like him like expressing how much he loves her, but even then, it's just like a serious thing. This is like him trying to express how serious he is about this. I think, but even so, yeah, I agree. It's kind of a vibe kill. But even then, like,
I was just an asshole move. Like her life, like sure has like all these issues going on. You know what I mean? I should worry about this.
Yeah, but like, she definitely still agrees to take his money to like build the Moulin Rouge. So like, it's kind of like if she just didn't go be with Dangalard, then there would be no issue. But that's fine. That works out. That's not like I don't even think the point is. But like, Alex definitely has he promises to marry her, and she's like, and like he'll give her the money for the Moulin Rouge and stuff like that. Yada yada yada. And like, she goes back behind his back and bangs Dangalard. Yeah,
to be fair, he still thought she had a boyfriend, right? I mean, it happens to be Dangalard over Paolo, but I don't really get why that affects Alexander too much.
Because I don't think he even cared about Paolo, to be honest. Because like no one cares about Paolo.
Yeah, but he thinks it's like she's in love with him. Also, doesn't make it like
except for that's also kind of just like a thing. She says that to even Dangalard, and she's still with Dangalard, and she still gets upset that Dangalard's like gets with Esther. So I think it just like she was confused.
Paolo, she's just lying about that.
Yeah, I don't think she actually like cares for Paolo at that point. I think that just like the vibe I got is that like she was kind of just didn't know what to say or what to answer, so she said yeah.
Also, how do you feel about her banging Paolo like just so she?
Oh, I wrote that down because that was so interesting.
Only to never talk to Paolo for the rest of the movie.
Well, I thought the most interesting part for me was that like how like Renoir like approaches that because it cuts to like Nini and her friend like walking down the stairs and whatnot near the laundromat. And it's like Nini's like, it's expected of theater people, and then like her friend's like, well, I mean, if I was you, I'd still do it. And then she's like, but I wanted Paolo to be the first, and her friend's like, you can still practice before tonight. And it's like that's such a interesting way to approach like saying that she wanted Paolo to be the first person or the person she loses her virginity to, and then like all that. That was like such an interesting setup.
I agree. It was a bit hard to follow, but like when you see what she means, like it makes so much sense. And then she gets there and she's like, "Don't worry, I know what I need to do." And he's like, "What? No."
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Also,
It's like
there are always people changing in there. Why is that necessary at all? Do you understand that?
changing in the dance hall.
Yeah, there's always like, someone in the background like naked.
Oh, I think
Gotta keep the viewers interested. Just do a couple
Also-
titties in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's not like always.
also I think it's supposed to show like this isn't like a very big area. Like they have like no
Yeah,
choice. If they're gonna
that's true.
change, they're just gonna change like right there.
I just think it's so random. Like it's like a Where's Waldo of naked people, you know? Like
Yeah, it even the first time we see the dance hall, they like walk in, the girl's like changing behind the like glass.
yeah, and then they shake clothes there or whatever. There's like another one who's like running through while everyone's practicing, like the towel, like. What? By the way, I want to talk about that montage, or the not montage scene, the scene of them improving at dancing.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go on a, I don't think this is like too big of an overstatement. I think like 5% of directors are turning that into a montage, and the fact that Renoir doesn't, and it turns out so well, is so impressive to me.
Oh yeah, because it was I think more effective than montage because that's like not the point of that scene.
Yeah,
It's like isn't that supposed to be like them getting better? Just like seeing what they're doing, and it's supposed to be like a character building thing. I don't know.
exactly. I think it makes it feel more real, and you like. I guess it just makes it feel less corny, and like their improvement is like real and earned. You know what I mean? Not the byproduct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like a Rocky montage where it feels like oh, and now he is super buff and he's the best around.
yeah. Like you actually get to see their legit improvement, and like it's kind of more like yeah, exactly. It feels also more possible. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And there's the whole phrase: you get one montage per movie, and you think, okay, I think 95% of directors are like, okay, this is my one montage, this movie, But I don't need any montages, and I think it works out so well. Caleb, what you think of that? You know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like, I think it makes it feel earned, and it also like gives you a lot more character development. Like, you just like get to see these characters talking, interact, and like get to hear their voice, which I think is important. And I don't know, it's just like interesting too because like we get like a few of those moments, and we sort of just like see their progression over the course of the movie, and then of course the finale of the movie, we get to see like it's like the largest jump of all of the
Yeah,
times between when we've seen them, and you're like, oh man, these people are really talented, and it's cool because it also sort of gives you like a sense of time for the movie. Like obviously this didn't happen over the course of a weekend, so it kind of serves a lot of purposes.
I very much agree. And kind of. Oh well, actually, we already do wrap up with the movie. So one more thing I feel we actually legit have to bring up because it's a musical. We haven't talked about the music yet. Did you guys?
Well, we kind of did with the Money song, which
Yeah,
definitely
sure,
my
but-
favorite song in the entire thing. Or not my favorite. I just had trouble like finding these songs. Like some of these were like legit amazing. Like the song Esther does. Like
Yeah.
I thought was like legit amazing. Like even when she like just does it like a cappella, I was like getting goosebumps. I was like, holy shit, this is so. Her voice is so good.
Mhm.
And then we have Edith Piaf, like when like during the theater like montage or whatnot or not montage, but like just showing people do their performances.
Mhm.
We have Edith Piaf, like the big singer, doing the even like equally big like French singer Eugene Buffett. It was like
Yeah.
ooh.
I thought it was all really strong, but like also just the score in general, I thought was like so interesting. They do some really weird things. Like there was one scene, where like there's just like this where like they're walking through like the hotel, and there's like this like the strangest like sad boy music ever. Like, like it's like a score of like wah wah wah. It's like only like I don't know. I'm not great with music, as you guys know, but like it was very musical range. It was so funny, and like when War, like he's constantly like doing silly things with the score, like really keep the movie like lighthearted. If you're a music guy, what do you think of the score?
Um,
Non-diegetic.
wait, what's diegetic mean?
Like in the film.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I definitely thought like the music that was like in the film was really, really well done, and I think it was interesting too because since it's such like a movie about like the people and the audience like experiencing the music, you got a sense of like how this music like fits within the time. So like you could really see like when they start playing that like Can song at the very end, people go nuts, man. Like I like it made me realize like man, that song was the banger of like the
Yeah.
turn of the century. Like if you're in the club and they start playing the Can, people are gonna lose their shit, dude. That's like the like dankest club banger around at that time. I'm like, it's sort of like, I don't know, like it was interesting to me for that reason. It sort of like gave a sorts of like perspective, I guess, on the time.
Yeah. Like all the guys like losing the shit, and all the girls have to like hold back their husbands.
Yeah, exactly. I love that, man. That cracked me up.
Okay, so with all that said, you ready to go on to Indiana Jones? Raiders of the Lost Ark? The one that people
oh,
most likely will be.
I have some questions and some other things that I want
Okay.
that was true, but the main thing, like when Baron Walter talks to Dungalord after like Alex trying to kill himself, he's like, "We can settle this bad blood, but I need you to respect appearances." I was like, and then like, you can't be going and making Lola mad or whatever. I didn't understand like what that meant. Like what's going on there? I didn't really get that. Like, what does he mean respect appearances?
Okay, so I actually have something specific to say for this. So appearances are basically like the whole point of like this artistic lifestyle and like putting on the theater, and appearances is a motif. I'm assuming we're gonna do the quote, our favorite quote thing at the end, so I was saving it for then. But my quote from this movie is let me grab it here. It's appearances are all that can save us. And that's sort of like sums up the whole point of the movie, is that like in life art is the only thing that's gonna like basically rescue you from the mundane, like, and you know how droll life is. And like basically all of the bad things that happen in this movie are a result of people like failing to see that and like getting caught up in their own like petty squabbles and personal interests and failing to put them aside for the sake of art. So like Paolo is basically the epitome of this, and basically like just screwing himself over because of his own small-mindedness and failing to see like the beauty in life. And then also like all the problems that happen to the Moulin Rouge, like as it like kind of goes up, basically all these like personal conflicts and petty squabbles cause arguments, and basically it's just all this like small-mindedness. And then the big problem that happens is when Lola comes and starts fighting with Nina when they're supposed to be like showing off this building to investors, and that's sort of like the it really captures the theme, because you know, they're sort of supposed to be keeping up appearances for these investors and making things look really good, and then their small-mindedness is like corrupting appearances. So it's sort of like a, I don't know, almost like a double entendre, I guess.
And also, like, you don't want to be like embarrassing your art, right? You're making your art less beautiful. If you know we're doing like pieces of art,
Mm-hmm.
the value of Lola as like a piece of art is like harder to take seriously when you know she's being cheated on and like in favor of other art.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that answer your question, Derek?
Kinda. I just didn't understand why Baron Walter would care. Like, or not like so much he cares, but like, what's his interest in, like, what does he mean for him?
I think he's just afraid that the drama is going to take over, you know, anything that's happening with the theater. So he's saying, you know, I don't want you to kind of bring your drama into this anymore. Let's keep the theater separate, you know.
All right, that makes sense. I was just kind of confused on that. And then, yeah. Oh, like, there's a lot of hilarious moments in this movie, but like specifically like the fight where like Lola comes and fights Nini or whatever, and like Nini goes into the brawl or whatever, and then gets passed around, like carried from like one guy to another, so she's like thrown from one guy to the other.
Yeah.
And then like Nini's mother comes in, like hits the guy with the blue military outfit over the head with like the pallet. That's so. I thought that was hilarious. He just like because he like just
thrown around. She gets tossed a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
Like at the very beginning, like one of her first introductions, like she's dancing and like she's dancing with Donglard, and then like what's her face? Lola walks up to her and just slaps her. Like no reason. I was like, jeez. Yeah.
But yeah, that like military guy when he gets hit in the head, he like stumbles and like salutes. He just like salutes and like stumbles away.
Also, like the old drunken lady, not drunken lady, the old the old time theater star.
Oh yeah.
The old lady who's like always like standing outside, and she's like wasted with Paolo. Like what?
Yeah. Paolo's like, I've been drinking with her.
It's like, how did you know each other? First thing, like, when did these two characters meet? Oh my gosh, Renoir is so great, and like also another great moment from him is like this is like a less comedic moment, but like also good work in his part. I think also like I'll go like I saw like 80%, maybe 75% directors. They would have just introduced Esther, like basically how he did, right? You know, where she's in the windowsill and he sees her singing and he wants her to be like part of the thing, right? I really like these are small things I think should make a movie better. Like how he already has that space introduced with like the grumpy neighbor from like an hour beforehand or whatever. It was a while ago, but that space is already introduced. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It seems less convoluted that 2/3 of the movie we're gonna introduce a new character, like and it's like random location when this location's like already been established. It's just those stuff like that I really appreciate about Renoir. I think was really nice.
Mm-hmm. It just like comes off as very clean. Like it doesn't have any like weird transition to it or like unexpectedness.
Okay, so now Indiana Jones. We spent an hour talking about a movie that no one, listening.
Oh, Alex shoots himself. He sits in the like throne-like chair or whatnot.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Like at the end when Dumbledore's just like sitting in the back, he's sitting in the same throne. I was like, ooh.
I didn't even think about that. Oh wait, as an aside, where did he shoot himself? Because when he was in the hospital, like I assumed he would shoot himself in the head, and like he didn't have any like bandage or anything. So
yeah, I don't think that was like the important part. I think it was just like he shoots himself and he fucks it up.
Yeah,
it's like the rib cage, maybe.
Yeah, looks like he was trying to shoot him in the heart, himself in the heart, because he like puts himself over his heart, but I guess he just like misses completely.
That's true, and that would be a very romantic idea, like shooting yourself in the heart of all places.
Yeah,
Alexander of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude. Oh my god, that dude is like fucking. Sure. Yeah, he's a classic.
Probably need to have a drink together or something. Okay, let's talk about the movie that people like actually probably listen to this podcast here is talk about. Let's talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. My first question to you guys actually is: when's the last time you guys had seen this movie?
Probably like 5-6 years. No, like probably 7 years.
Caleb.
And probably thereabouts for me too. Maybe a bit less. I don't recall exactly, but it had been like maybe at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's been a bit more for me. I think maybe like 8 or 9 years. I don't think I've seen it. It's been a long time, but so I was curious because I think it does like inform our opinions like when the last time we saw this movie is because it comes off a lot differently than how I remembered. What do you guys think of Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Oh yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, "This is kind of boring." It's like these characters kind of suck, but I still kind of think. But like, that's not really the point of this movie. What like comes off to me now is that like how effective the shot comp is.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg when like balls to the walls with like he only focuses on shots that like have to do with action. Like if Indy like rolls up his whip or something, that's what he focuses on. If like someone is getting like aimed at with a gun, that's what he focuses on. So he's kind of just like going all in with like
Yeah, trying to get these very visually appealing images, and also like very realistic. You know what I mean? It's actually like weird enough for such like a surreal movie. The shots are kind of made to be like almost hyper real. We don't really get any flashbacks, you know. Especially like the scene stood out to me was when they were talking with like the army dudes. So that's something I'll say about that in a bit. Um, they were talking with like the army intelligence just about like the whole situation, kind of giving us an exposition for the film. You know, like
Mhm.
it's not like they like went back to ancient times or anything. Like there so many times they could have gone to like flashbacks, and he didn't. Even at the beginning of that scene, like as they walk up to this kind of stage, like the chalkboard, where we'll be having most of our discussion to this scene. The mics are behind the camera. Like they are very quiet. The characters are very quiet at first. The mic because the mics are so far away, and they walk up to the mics, so it's like almost giving like a point of view perspective on a lot of the movie. That kind of continues throughout. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, I felt like it was definitely like a super clean movie. Like, in just in terms of like the way the action scenes work and the camera works, like the pacing is like incredible. And like the action scenes are just so fluid and like interesting in the way they like interact with the environment, and they're always moving around. It's always very dynamic. And I really liked it for that reason.
Very true. So, a few of these who haven't seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, basically it's about this part-time professor, part-time adventurer, Indiana Jones, who is he's on a search for the Ark of the Covenant, which possesses the ability to like, let you converse with God, some sort of mystic ability. It's not really made clear what it actually does. Correct?
Well,
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
kills
a
everyone.
military weapon to some degree.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, destroys everyone who looks at it, right? But
Well, yeah, but you don't know that until the end.
yeah, I know, yeah. But,
But the implication is that like because the Hebrews like would carry it into battle and like never lose a battle, it's like gonna shoot lightning out. Is basically like what they say. That's like the only like concrete thing they say is that it shoots lightning out. So obviously the Nazis want it for some sort of weapon.
Yeah, so the Nazis want it, the Americans want it. So the Nazis send their entire Nazi squadron, hundreds of men, and the Americans send one guy, and that's the premise of our movie. What do you guys think about Indiana Jones from like a narrative perspective? 'Cause that's probably where it's weakest, right?
Yeah, it's so weak. Like you had to like suspend so much disbelief. It's incredible.
Dude, that's exactly what my roommate said when we were watching it. He's like, I'm not sure when people like this movie, but the amount of disbelief you have to suspend for like you to follow it. There are so many people who are just, like constantly making the wrong decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like literally the bar fight. There's like 6 dudes with submachine guns pointing at Indiana Jones. We had to assume that somehow he survives getting shot at by 6 submachine guns at once. Like,
or like the guy.
I think it's okay though. It's not really about that.
I understand, but just like the guy who's like, when it's the scene where they're in Egypt and he's like searching for chick in the barrel things,
yeah.
Mhm.
and the guy with the machine gun, like right before the car blows up, he's like, you're shooting it at the ground. Like, why are you shooting it at the ground?
Also, the scene where he's getting like chased in the truck with the ark. There's people in the back, but that's not the most upsetting part. The people with the car with the fucking machine gun on it
Yeah.
are not shooting at him for whatever reason. All they have to do is like mow down the truck, and the movie's over.
Also, this will be like the last big plot inconsistency point, but or like the scene where like he's like dressing up as like one of the Egyptians,
Oh my god, yes.
Somewhat offensive, but like he's very obviously the white guy, right? Like everyone.
Yeah. Also, he's standing on a hill with a surveying tool, and they're just like, "Oh, the digger is using a surveying tool." All of a sudden, that's cool.
Uh-huh.
And then like they pull out a giant rope and start like, I don't even know what they're doing. They go over to the hole or not, whatnot that is surveyed.
And continue around. That's what I don't get. Why are they just like? Why are they walking through the workplace anyways? Couldn't you just like waited a bit, Just like walked around later on in the day. Just
Yeah.
a bit odd to me.
And I don't know.
I think you can definitely excuse all of this. Like, it was not hard for me to just like
Sure, yeah.
excuse it because that's like not what it's like supposed to be. I guess.
Yes, especially given genre, right? Where this is like the action
Mhm.
film.
Yeah,
things that
it's kind of just frustrating though. It's kind of like the fact that for action film you have to suspend disbelief to like actually be invested in it. It's kind of just I don't know, frustrating.
Yeah, sure.
Especially when there's like I don't know John Wick, where it's kind of like I don't know. There's more effective action films that you don't have to suspend as much disbelief.
Sure, but this is also like one of the first, right?
Yeah, this is one of the first, so it's fine. That's like more excusable, I suppose. My main issue is that like, sure, the narrative can be like weak as hell, but at least the characters should be interesting or something, so that I don't have to like just watch these boring people do these things I'm like invested in.
Okay, this I disagree with. I think Indiana Jones is definitely a compelling character. Maybe not complex,
Yes.
compelling, like a visually compelling character.
Visually, but like
I agree
not
completely.
like on like an actual character level.
Yeah, but that's not the point. I think almost the main point of this film is to like it's all about the iconography of Indiana Jones, right? Setting up this kind of mythic man, right?
Yeah, but for me, I don't know. That's just kind of boring. Like I can only like for me that seems like they're trying to like set it up so you can like put your place in as like you can like believe yourself to be like Indiana Jones or something. So it has to be like as boring a character as possible. But it's just like
I don't know. I don't think it was like to me. It wasn't like that at all. Like he does not seem like a typical self-insert character like much at all.
No, it's like mythic. Yeah, no, Indiana Jones is not. Yeah, I agree. It's a self.
Wait, isn't that what Jack said? Is that they had to make him boring so that you could self-insert?
Oh, I guess that is what he said.
Well, that's I don't know. That's the only way I can see him like being so boring and being interesting.
Well, it's because I think he's compelling as a professor, though, right? Like I like
Is he?
in every single scene where he's a professor.
Except for it's kind of like I don't know. That was also kind of weak to me. It's kind of like as these apparent. What I got from the scene is that he has a book with pictures in it about the Ark and his all of the girls in his class want to bang him.
Yeah, it makes him so cool, right? He's like this professor.
I don't know if that's cool to me.
He's
more like
a good orator. Is my point. Like he talks, okay, Derek, which he's not really doing much as Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's not saying much. If all you can do is talk about a book that he's had for however long that someone gave him.
It's compelling. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm with you, Matthew. I agree. He's cool.
I think he's like a mythic character, right? You see, like they go to his shadow so much throughout this film. You guys noticed that? We've always seen this man's shadow, which is like the definition of like kind of one of the biggest staples of like creating like an iconographic mythic figure. Like even like things where it's unnecessary. Like obviously sometimes it's like not the clear thing to do, but like a really good thing to do. Like right when he's going to save I should use her name, not that girl. Right when he goes to save Marion,
Yeah.
But there are other scenes where like I said, the scene where there's talking with the chalkboard, like we get like a shot of the board like with his shadow on it, and I thought that was really interesting. We're just always getting his shadow. We're always whip when he's doing the adventures. We get music, He's always wearing the hat. This is a character who's, it's not like a superhero movie, right? This isn't who, like, we're supposed to know inherently. But they did such a good job of showing them to us.
Yeah, exactly. And like doing it like you said, this isn't a hero that like we all know, but they do such a good job of making it seem like we should in a way.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
The way other people treat him, it's like he's mythic in his own world.
Yeah, we get a lot of Indiana Jones.
And I think he is like pretty interesting as a protagonist because he's very much like a sort of like roguish, uncaring sort of figure. Like in the classic scene where the guy's like waving the sword around and he just shoots him.
Yeah.
Like he just pulls out his gun, shoots him dead, and walks away. Like this is very different than I think a lot of heroes that we're sometimes used to be seeing.
Yeah, he's not as much honor bound. His job is to his goal is to get the job done. Yeah,
exactly. And like even what his job is sort of roguish as well. Like looting antiquity sites.
Yeah,
it's for like his own profit. Like he sells them to the museum, so it's not like he's any sort of like altruist character by any stretch of the imagination.
Derek, you have any thoughts on this aspect of it?
I mean, yeah, that's like probably the only interesting part of Indy for me is that he's kind of like against the grain anti-hero to some extent.
Correct.
But
you mean the character, not the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. I think it's more than one part of the movie.
That's not the movie, but like him as a character. My problem is less with that and like more of the rest of the characters. It's kind of just like, I don't know, a blank template of characters.
Yeah, they had good going with Marion, but then she kind of like gets kidnapped for half the movie, which is
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's like the only real like struggle for him as like a character or Indiana Jones. Like everyone else is more like physical, like action based struggle.
And also, she's the only other character with like complex emotions at all, right? We have like this with her dad dying apparently. Indiana Jones hurt her in the past, stuff like that. Yeah, then we just don't really get into it too much, which is
and then like they put her out of the movie for most of it.
Mm-hmm. But also, if we're talking about good iconography, another character who I think helps with Indiana Jones iconography is the Nazis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are done quite well.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you mean by done well?
Just in terms of they are good bad guys, you know what I mean? Like they're to watch. You don't like them. They're a bit scary at times. But like
that's
the visual of them, like if I see this guy, I know he's a Nazi. He doesn't even have some typical Nazi stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize him. His iconography is solid. Help lends to the Indiana Jones myth of this kind of Nazi destroying rogue.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You don't like the Nazis, Derek?
Oh no, it is kind of like, to be fair, or at least I guess unfair to the story. It's kind of like if you set up your character against Nazis, your character is gonna win. Like no one's gonna sympathize with the Nazis.
Yeah, sure. But then
so it's kind of like giving yourself a low ball.
But that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
I think like I don't know. You're like
I think
it's not supposed to be like some sort of like genre redefining like
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like genre redefining or anything, but it's supposed to be like an effective action flick, I suppose. But I don't know.
It is effective though. You like the Nazis, you like Indiana Jones.
It's effective, but it's still boring. As
you think it's boring with the Nazis who like burn her, and he has this cool, his epic speech was like.
No, not boring from like an action standpoint. Boring from like a story standpoint. I thought we were still talking about narrative.
I was talking about like the iconography of it, like Nazis. Just iconography. Yeah. The myth.
Yeah.
Which is really what the narrative is about, right? The narrative is more about this mythic, kind of creating this mythic character.
Yeah, I don't know, Jack. I feel like you're being, your interpretation is much harsher than mine. I'll say that. I think like it's not supposed to like, it's not a cerebral movie. You're not supposed to like be like thinking about what it means to be a hero or any sort of like far-fetched concepts like that. You're just supposed to like sit back and enjoy the flick, I think. And like you may like that or not like that, but for what that is what it's trying to do, and it does that very well.
Can I say though? Yeah. Okay, one part that was really, really funny. Like it wasn't even like so ridiculous, but I can't mention it earlier. I want to mention it now. The scene where it's like the professors are all talking like the army guys. Why do the army guys look like such nerds, and like the professors are like so cool looking? I thought that was really funny. Like I like the army guys. Like one of them's like really fat, the other one's like this like skinny like goofy looking guy, and then you have like you're like two professors who's like should be like much bigger. It's like Indiana Jones, and then like his boss who's like all like, kind of roguish as well.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that, but that's great.
Also, my other fan theory is actually there's a question. What's up with the monkey?
Oh, the monkey was okay. That was also something I had an issue with. Like, there's this monkey that works for this bad guy, apparently, and that's working with the Nazis. And like, A, we don't know who the fuck the dude is. B, it just comes out of nowhere. C, it doesn't go anywhere because all of a sudden the monkey's still a good guy and the guy just disappears. Mm-hmm. And then like D, like, what's the point? It just gets her captured. This is like the only point of the and that into like when the dude like the monkey dude like poisons the grapes, it dies and basically saves Indy accidentally. So like
I
there's
think
like
the monkey wants to sleep with Indiana Jones. I think that's
so
about.
the point.
I think he gets Marion captured. And all of a sudden we see him on Indiana Jones' side. I see what you're trying to do, monkey. Okay? You can't fool me.
Well, it's like I don't know. It is frustrating because like it's so redundant. Like because the point where like saves Indy, like you could just have another character do that. Like
yeah,
sure. Especially if you just remove the monkey guy entirely, that whole plot point is unnecessary, and you can just have someone else capture Marion.
This is all true, but it's a cute monkey, so think about that.
Yeah. See, that's my problem. Is that like this is a very almost nihilist movie. Like it doesn't matter what the story is. It just looks cool.
I don't know.
I mean, it's fun though. But
Yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be fun. It's like I don't know. You just gotta stop thinking about it.
That's the thing. It's very American almost. Stop thinking about drink some beer and just watch.
Exactly.
It's such American iconography. It's insane. Cowboy.
Yeah,
Slightly
killing Nazis.
offensive
Literally a
at times,
cowboy
but
killing
we're not gonna
Nazis.
really talk
That's
about
like as
it.
good as it gets.
Yeah. As literally as American as it gets. Versus the fucking Nazis.
He's like, should I make a Nazi film or a Western next?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice. Oh, one thing I did really appreciate, one thing that I'm kind of using this. 90% of directors would do this, but Spielberg does this. You know the scene where they're do a couple like twice where they fly to places. 90% of directors have and I hate it so much because it's become such like a visual cliche where like we just take the map and like the planes like kind of it's like an animated little plane with like red lines on the map. I hate that. I liked it so much better what Spielberg does with like an actual plane and then just superimposed onto the map.
Yeah.
So much better. It's like much more visually appealing. It doesn't take me out of the movie. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can agree. I didn't even think about that, but I completely agree. Like that completely makes sense.
Also, okay, one more thing. This isn't even me complaining because like, it's like not at all like a plot point. But this bar scene, what's so funny to think about is like this whole bar scene where in a span of like you're supposed to be like 20 minutes or so, Marion is confronted by one of her ex-lovers. He asks to go on this giant quest. He leaves. These Nazis come, right? And they try to basically. She's like almost dead, and she's like getting this giant fight with all these Nazis. This all comes off of the heels of her like getting like going shot for shot with like, this like quite heavy set man, and it's implied that she's wasted. Like she is wasted throughout like all of these scenes. Like, I think it's so much funnier to think about.
Yeah.
Where like all this like ridiculous stuff is happening, and she's just like.
Yeah, that's like her
as hell.
superpower. That's like what makes her an interesting character.
Yeah.
Her superpower is that she can like drink a ton and still like function.
Yeah, and she's like drinking
Especially-
during the fight, like the kegs like pouring out, and she's like good,
Exactly. Yeah, and then like not only that, but she uses her superpower to almost escape from Belloc.
Yeah.
So like it even like has a purpose beyond like character building. I think it's like cool, makes her character more interesting.
I don't know if your superpower is drinking. I don't know. That's a pretty American superpower to begin with.
Exactly. It's an American movie.
This is America, but instead of being, like very racially like aware, it's actually the opposite. What's to be like about the
Yeah,
movie?
maybe slightly racist. A little racist.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Between the Indians.
Oh my god.
And like every brown person is bad except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even then he's like a coward.
Just like slightly offensive German accents. America.
What a great movie.
Yeah. Also, a
I
bit
don't know.
lazy at points, but we can ignore that.
Also, this is kind of like the only well, not the only, but like the directorial thing that I wasn't a big fan of is that like during the bar scene, like it shows like multiple shots of the medallion to make sure the audience knows where the medallion is. It's like once was enough, buddy. We're not retarded.
I think it's fine. I mean,
Because it's supposed to be like it's important. It's supposed to be that
it
you're
builds
like you're
suspense. Yeah, I don't think it's
remembering it the
hint.
whole time because you're like, are they gonna see it? Is he gonna?
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know.
And
it's
it
like
ends up
every
being
time it
relevant
cuts,
as well.
it's like it's every time it cuts to the medallion, it's like, oh my gosh, is this where they find the medallion? You know, I think it just uses both suspense.
I don't know. It felt less of suspense and more like I don't know, making sure the audience knows where it is, so when the guy goes to grab it, they're not surprised.
No, because I think
And that's okay, right? Like, isn't that like that's kind of what should happen?
No, my problem isn't that like he does it. Is that he does it like shows it like multiple times. Like we didn't get the point.
I guess I see what you
it
mean.
didn't bother me too much when I was watching it.
And it kind of bothered
You
me.
keep talking about all these directorial things you like, or you keep alluding to them. What are these directorial things that you like, Derek?
Well, I think his shotgun's very effective for an action flick. Like I said, that's like the big thing. I already said like how he always focuses on like action based like shots. Like if something's happening, then he's gonna focus on it. Like if he's about to get if he is aimed at by a gun, the person who's aiming is gonna get focused on. If
Sure.
The dude who's like I don't know, he's about to whip a dude. I don't know. That's what it's gonna get focused on. So very effective.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb, what good things do you have to say about this movie?
Well, like I mentioned before, I thought it was just like very clean. The action scenes were great.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I wanted to mention. The music is really, really good.
Yeah, John Williams always the best.
He's super strong.
He delivered on that front for sure. I think like the music actually sort of carried the movie in some respects. Like I think,
And not just the music,
like
as like
set
a
the tone.
well, it's not. I do agree. It's great setting the tone. I'm just setting the tone in terms of like this music is like what caused this movie, but also just kind of the musical motifs, right? Which is really comfortable, kind of like I'm just watching it. Like the whole like Indiana Jones theme song, it gets you in such a good mood. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm ready.
exactly.
Okay. With that, I read vote.
Oh yeah. Also, I like the opening of the arc. That was pretty cool. That was a cool
Yeah, and the
scene.
music is so great there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So-
it's an epic moment. And it's an epic movie, right? It's so
Mhm.
fun. He hates snakes. That's cool. He gets put in a snake pit. You know, solid.
Yep. What could you ask for, honestly? Just so good. Like that's like another aspect of his character that I really liked, and sort of like makes him more complex than I think like Derek was sort of making him out to be. Is like everything that he is has an exception, which I think adds a lot of like, I guess you could say like texture to him
like-
as a character.
It's a good way to phrase it. I like that actually a lot. Is everything he has an exception.
Like he's a college professor, but he's like exciting because he's an adventurer, you know.
And 'cause
And
he's
then
really
he's
attractive.
Yeah. Like, and he's a fearless, roguish adventurer, but he has like a crippling fear, which is a weakness. And I don't know, like it's pretty good.
He's really cold to everyone, but he's in love with this girl, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I guess with that, are we good to vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, also, yeah. What's up with the Mexican guy? Why was he trying to at the beginning? Why was he trying to take the whatever that statue was? What was that? I don't remember what that statue was either. What was that statue at the beginning? What was the point of the whole beginning scene? I'm sorry.
None. It set up Bell Rock.
Oh, yeah, and it
I'm
sort of
sorry.
like introduces you to the character. It's like
Yeah.
Like, it
Okay, I
just-
just want to make sure there's no narrative
it
importance.
sets it up. Yeah, no.
But what'd you guys think of? I know I keep acting like we're gonna end and I don't. What do you guys think of Belloc? Belloc?
He's a great character. I loved him as a character.
He's kind of like a foil to Indiana Jones, right? That's the basic idea.
Yeah, and they literally like say that. He's like, I am you, but just in a dark shadow, and with a slight push, you could be in that shadow too. So like
Yeah.
they very like explicitly say that he's a foil.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now let's vote. So, favorite quote. Derek, want to start us off? My
Sure.
movie. Favorite quote.
I have two, and they're both from French Cancan. I like the scene where they're like everyone's lined up for going into the new Moulin Rouge, and they go, and the people in the back, or I guess the last people we see in the line are like, there's like, oh, I don't really. The woman says, I don't really like drama. I guess we shouldn't go.
Gosh, you stole mine. Okay, yes.
And then she's like, and then her husband, I suppose, says like, oh, LBR stars don't have drama; they have scandals. I was like, oh, that's so perfect.
Mhm.
That's like so perfect. That's such a great line and sums up so much about like Hollywood now. Even though this is like so long ago, it was
Probably not
such a
Hollywood,
good-
but yeah. I don't think he cares too much about Hollywood. Personally.
Well, like
It's like
not so much
celebrity,
Hollywood,
theater culture,
celebrity,
etc.
yeah, celebrity in
Celebrity
general.
culture. Fair. Yeah,
It's such a good line.
it is.
And then also, I like his monologue at the end, Dangalards. Like, do I look like Prince Charming? Only one thing matters to me: what I create. And what do I create? You.
I don't know
And,
as much, but I
and
get
her, them. There have been others before. There'll be others to come. In the end, you think it matters what you and I want. All that counts is what they want.
I think Esther's feeling during all that, by the way. She's like, wait, what? More to come. Oh, yeah, but
Wait, so which one was Esther? She's the new
She's
one that he's having an affair with, but
yeah.
Yeah.
like,
She's
where did she show up before? Was she,
She was the one in the. She was the neighbor in the house who's singing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Caleb, favorite quote.
I mentioned it before, but appearances are all that can save us. It just sort of like completely sums up what the movie's about, wraps up the theme nicely. The other one I thought was good was life is not as simple as it seems. I thought that was
You guys
pretty.
are actually the worst. You're taking everything I'm about to say. Oh my gosh! Yeah, I was gonna say that's like probably the theme of the movie, right? Is just well, I don't know if it's like a theme, but it personifies the movie almost. You know,
Mhm.
you can tell everything from this one kind of just torrent character saying life is not as simple as it seems. Really strong stuff. God, well, I would have probably had stars on my dramas, only have scandals, and that's because life is not as simple as it seems. So again, go to my third choice for a good quote. Yeah, a little good quotes. I really liked they're looking for adventure and comfort.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was strong stuff. Okay, favorite scene. In another movie.
That's a tough
Make Derek
one.
start because I don't know yet.
Honestly, I probably like the scene where Prince Alex is under the tree with Nini the most because like the colors are so good, it's, like set up so perfectly. Like when it backs off and we see like the tree with the pink flowers and it's like oh, and then like you see the pink dress girl with the pink flowers. It was so good.
Strong stuff. Caleb, you have any idea?
Yeah, like I thought the climax of French Cancan was just so great.
Yeah,
When
it's
like
great.
everybody goes to the party and like the whole dance is happening, and I don't know, it's like so visually stimulating, and like in addition, like you sort of it sort of dawned on me like, oh wait, these actors we've been watching this whole time are actually really talented performers too, like in terms of like dance,
Mhm.
because like the one woman was like doing backflips and all
Yeah,
kinds of
it's
like,
crazy.
crazy stuff. It was like, man, like these people are like really talented.
Well, we keep
And-
giving shouts. Yeah. Continue.
And like they just like when it keeps cutting back and forth to Danglars just like sitting in the background, like
Yeah,
with like the
tapping
music
his
kind of
foot.
faded, like oh my gosh, that was like so powerful. I loved it.
We keep giving shout outs to French Cancan. I'll give one to Indiana Jones at least. I'll go with I think the bar scene, especially like the start when the Nazis come in. I think it's really, really strong stuff. You know, up until when Indiana Jones comes with the shadow and the whip. I like
Mhm.
the bar scene because it's just so long, you know. But I
Yeah.
my portion of it. Okay. Favorite. We're gonna have them on some separate. We have favorite character, and favorite performance. Who's y'all's favorite character? Then best performance, I guess, not favorite performance.
Casimir, obviously. Casimir's my bro, dude. I love him. So bright and happy. Oh my god, I love him as a character. And his little song, the Money song, is so perfect.
Yeah. Like the Persian Cat song too. Shout out to the Persian Cat.
Oh yeah. That
Kate,
was a good one too.
your favorite character?
Indiana Jones, of course. Like, as like obviously he just like carries that movie. His name is the title. I don't know. Like, I really like the kind of approach to life, I guess you could say, of Danglars. But like, just in terms of like what he does for the movie, Indiana Jones, like, you know, the movie's on his back. It's all about him.
I was actually gonna go with the same person. Favorite character and favorite performance. I think I'm actually gonna change my favorite characters. I'm gonna go with Lola as my favorite character.
Really?
Like, what's that?
Really?
Yeah, I
That's
think it's really easy to make her come off like we could have easily made her like crazy woman character, right?
Yeah.
But she becomes so much more complex and interesting as we kind of learn more about her and her husband's kind of viewpoints on life. And honestly, more than ever character, like once you kind of, in retrospect, I think more than any other character, Lola's almost right about everything, right? I think looking back, I agree with her on like almost every single issue. Like obviously, there's times where like, come on, Lola, you don't need to be kicking, you know, Nini. They haven't even like. But I thought like just her evolution is so good. And I'll start off with favorite performance. I'm gonna go Nini for favorite performance of either movie. I thought she did an amazing job. She's actually probably my favorite character too, but you know I want to spread the love around. I love Nini's character. I love Nini. I love Francois Arnoux. I think so I say it. Francois Arnoux. Her performance was just amazing. This is a character who like is the movie, right? Like even we're gonna say that you know the Moulin Rouge isn't about it's not about a character. It's about or French Cancan's not about a character. It's about the Moulin Rouge. She kind of personifies the Moulin Rouge, right? There, even as you hear people talking about it, the whispers aren't about I mean, I think there's a tiny bit of talk about Danglars, but outside of Danglars, the only thing people are really talking about is Nini, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is this, and she brings so much life to the movie and this complexity and this. She like I think she like stresses like she says life is not as simple as it seems, and that like really hit me.
Yeah.
Her having to like deal with all this shit, and she's just 18 years, and ever since she started dancing, and I think it's so great. Really appreciate for character or best performance.
My choice would probably be what's her name?
Nini, Lola, Esther.
No, the fucking my best. Oh, never mind. I want to change it because I can't remember her name. My best performance or favorite performance is probably going to be the two guys, the two ruffians or whatnot. They're like so perfect. They perfectly
I guess so. I don't think the best performance. That gets me a favorite character. But sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're really good for setting up like the atmosphere. They're like so good.
Okay, whatever. Caleb.
I'd have to say probably Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones because like his subtleties and expression, like what'd you say?
Double down.
Yeah, I think like he just like has a lot of, like I said, like subtleties to his expressions and like the way he says things. Like I don't know, he's like a very like he just builds his character really well. Like like when he like just shoots that guy and then turns around and just has like a kind of almost bored look on him. Like he just does a lot for that.
I agree. And now, move on to the moment of truth here. Best movie. Derek, start us off.
Cancan, easy.
I want to start us off. I lied. I heard what you said, but hopefully I talked over you sufficiently enough. I'm gonna go with the French Cancan. It was amazing. Probably one of my favorite movies. I think it's my favorite movie that we've watched so far. Super duper strong stuff. I thought the characters were great. It was such a great vibe. It was a happy movie that took itself seriously, which was established at the beginning. It's very hard to do. Just a great movie all around. I loved almost every single character in this movie. Well, I appreciate every character in this movie. Maybe not loved each character. Some of them were pretty hard to love. You know, particularly Paolo was not exactly the most likable guy. But
Yeah.
I still the movie was really strong stuff. Okay, sorry, Derek. You can talk now.
Definitely French Cancan.
Okay, there you go.
It's a good movie, good movie, good mood movie. Well, for the most part, but that's kind of like the good part of it is that it's not afraid to not be a good mood movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, all these great characters. My boy Casimir, he's such a good time. Oh my god. If Josiah was ever a character in a movie, Casimir's pretty close, I imagine.
He is. He is much more like several of the characters. I think he's much more like the Ruffians than he is.
I don't know. Yeah, he's like the Ruffians, but like I don't know. Actually, no. I think Corey's more like the Ruffians, to be honest. But
dude, just the whole he's lifted up your girl's skirt.
oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, it's just such a good time, and like I don't know, the narrative's more interesting, which is my thing.
Yeah, sure. Caleb.
French Cancan.
Yeah, we got a French Cancan sweep.
Yep.
I'm
interested though that I'm surprised that you thought that was the best movie we've watched so far on the podcast. That's
yeah, I kind of agree. Well, not the best, but I put it up there. I'd probably put it like number 3.
I think it's my favorite, not the best. I think it's definitely my favorite, probably the best as well. What would you have up there? I'm actually curious. Oh, I was thinking this would be a good podcast to do at the end. So maybe we should save this for the end. Like after the first round is done, I was thinking maybe we could do a podcast of the top 10 movies of the first round or something. Go back through.
Okay, yeah, that seems good.
Okay, so now what we have to do is what movies we're watching for next week. Our matchups are Hitchcock versus Visconti, Fellini versus Woody Allen, John Goddard versus David Lynch.
Let's do Woody Allen versus Fellini.
Okay. Ooh, this might be a controversial one. No thoughts on Fellini's at Home. Caleb's favorite movie of all time is 8.5 by Fellini. My favorite movie of all time is Annie Hall by Woody Allen. So
really? Oh my god, this is gonna be a throwdown, man.
Things are gonna get heated, I would assume. And Derek's gonna be put in a really awkward social position.
I'm just gonna whichever one I like the most. That's all it's gonna be.
No. Yeah, but whichever one of us you like the most. So between me and Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be an easy one.
Only one of us plays video games on a consistent basis.
That's true.
Also, the other one's a redhead, so.
Oh, that's also
Hey,
true.
don't tell the viewers that. Hey, you should ask. No. Now I have to be the scapegoat of the pod.
Well, thank you to all those viewers that Caleb refers to. We love and appreciate all of you. And remember, watch more movies.